I'm gonna send you a screenshot of the horrifying image that's used in this stat block.
Holy shit.
Regarding the Sorcerer Warlock combination, Homie in our comments says, I believe there is a Warlock feature or invocation that says you don't need to sleep.
Oh, yeah. That is from the Pact of the Tome. There's an invocation you can take that lets you count light activity for 8 hours as a long rest.
Okay.
So, technically, yes, you don't need to sleep, but it still counts as a long rest, so it would still reset your spell slots and the sorcery points. I see where he's going, and that's really badass, but it does not quite negate the whole exhaustion thing.
That would be a Magic the Gathering tier combination.
Oh my
if it worked
gosh. That would be insane.
It'd be really dumb.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, it's really cool. Like I love being able to talk about the really powerful, really popular stuff that's out there right now. Because so many people get invested in it so quickly and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. Or they'll come in and be like, oh my gosh, I found this other thing that makes it even better. And yeah, I think that there were a few comments on the shorts too, talking about how DMs should veto it and it should be banned or modified or controlled. I don't think it necessarily needs to be. Like, kind of based on the fact that it requires so much external assistance.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, the exhaustion thing is still gonna bite you in the ass.
It is a big deal.
Yeah. And then also, you have unlimited spell slots. That's really cool. You're not necessarily going to be breaking combat by having unlimited spells. You can still only cast one spell per round.
Right.
And even if you upcast all of them to the highest level you are capable of, realistically, that's only going to add 2 or 3 damage dice to the spell. And also, you can't go above your maximum spell level. So I don't think it's really going to break anything because you're just kind of doing what you would normally be able to do forever.
Yeah, for real. Someone else says, I've been liking Warlock and Bard.
Warlock and Bard?
Because of Agonizing Blast.
That's really cool. I've never thought of Warlock and Bard.
I haven't either.
Huh.
That's kind of sick.
Not me pulling it up right now.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know exactly what goes into that. I think I would need to mess around with it a bit.
So while we're looking all this up, here's a question for you. Manual stat rolling or standard array or point buy?
Oh, okay. Manual. Yeah. I like manual rolling. It just, I'm not interested in power gaming. I am really just down for taking what I've been given. And cause it's like, I think I mentioned this in the first episode, but, as I've been telling, my other friends who are into D&D, the thing I used to look for in a campaign was hitting shit really hard. And now all I really want to do is cry with my friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So screw it. Like I'll take whatever the dice tell me at this point. I think that is fun.
Yeah, I mean, people say it all the time. It's all over social media. The dice tell a story.
The dice do tell a story. And, sometimes they tell you something kind of within your insane power fantasy anyway.
Yeah.
So. Exactly.
And I mean, the fun thing about manual rolling is that just like the other methods, you still get to choose which stat goes where.
Yeah. I saw a TikTok recently. I can't remember if we already talked about this or if I sent it to you or not. But this guy's idea for stat rolling was 20 minus a d12.
You definitely did not send that one to me.
Okay.
That's a new one.
Yeah. I kind of like it a lot, to be honest.
I mean, it could get really scary though.
It can, but like, you know, like 8 sucks to roll, right? That's the lowest you can get out of that. 20 minus 12.
Well, if you roll high on the d20.
No.
20, it's just a static 20?
20 minus a d12.
Okay, I thought it was roll a d20 and then minus a d12.
That would be weird.
That scared me a lot more.
Yeah, no, you could not make anything with that. That would not work.
Okay. See, yeah, okay. This makes a lot more sense now. Yeah. Static 20 minus a roll of a d12 is not bad. And you're right. 8 is the lowest you can get on that.
Yeah.
That's
I would try it.
Yeah.
I would try a character like that, I think.
I absolutely would too.
Uh-huh.
That'd be
and
pretty
you still
cool.
like drop the lowest with I think that's what the guy did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he got like, to be honest, he got stats I would expect out of like a, you know, somewhat above average stat roll anyway.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. It seems like fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should intro the podcast.
Intro the podcast.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Welcome to Summon Greater Podcast.
Summon Greater Podcast.
The show with hot men and even hotter giant homebrew.
That's right. We're back doing the exact thing we said we wouldn't do.
Did we commit to not doing it?
No, not really. We just said we weren't going to talk about whales, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, we're not. Shut up then.
Nope.
We're not talking about whales.
What are you talking about? My giant.
You're giant.
So what we did after we talked about, don't mind me digging in my eye there. After we talked about the new source book is coming out, Glory of the Giants, we sat down and talked about how fun it would be to come up with our own homebrew giants. And these aren't like subclasses or anything. These are like actual monsters, and they're customized, unique giants. So the one that I came up with is a concept that has been talked about and toyed with before, but it is not currently in D&D Beyond as a canon monster. Whether that's because I don't have a source book that it's in or whatever. I currently do not have access to anything like this that is canon.
Okay.
I took a storm giant, which is the big, most powerfulest boy.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what would happen if he got turned into a mind flayer thrall?
What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, mind flayers can make thralls. And one of my absolute favorite new creatures that came to us not too long ago in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons was the Elder Brain Dragon.
Okay.
Which was an ancient dragon that got turned into a thrall by a mind flayer elder brain.
That's a mess, bro.
Yep. So its breath weapon is not an elemental breath weapon.
No.
Can you guess where this is going? Yeah.
Look, bro.
It squirts out tadpoles.
Stop.
The breath weapon.
So disgusting.
The breath weapon is just a bunch of little mind flayer guys coming to get you.
Okay.
And if you fail your save, you become a thrall.
All right. Well,
Horrifying.
that's a nightmare.
Yeah. So I thought I'd probably make something less nightmarish than that. But again, I was like, what if Storm Giant Thrall? They are also referred to as Ceramorphs.
Okay.
For those of you who recently purchased and have been playing Baldur's Gate 3, y'all know what I'm talking about, because that is part of the story in there is mind flayers. So the whole thing with the giant, I have called it the Storm Etten Ceramorph, because Etten is another name for giants. The whole thing with him is that he got turned into a thrall, and I saw this idea somewhere. It might have been an article on D&D Beyond or something about a giant being turned into a mind flayer thrall, and it grew a second head because it like ingested so many of the like spawn thingies. But it's not like, oh, 2 heads are better than 1 kind of a thing. It's like there's another face like growing out of its body. And so I took that and I kind of ran with it. So it's a storm giant. I didn't change a ton of the stat block as far as like giving it crazy weird abilities. One of the most notable things that I did, I increased some of the stats. So it has a 20 in its intelligence and charisma now, where the storm giant originally, I believe it had like a 16 in intelligence and an 18 in charisma. I also gave it proficiency in intelligence saving throws. So it has proficiency in almost every saving throw now.
Okay.
Strength, constitution, intellect, wisdom, charisma. Yeah, the only thing it's missing is a dexterity for proficiency in saving throws. And it now has a passive perception of 22.
Okay.
Because 2 faces. And also, it has a slightly enlightened mind from being a mind flayer thrall. Also, as a result, it learned deep speech and undercommon, because that is those are the languages of the mind flayers. And then I replaced the storm giant's like lightning bolt attack, where they can throw a lightning bolt, and I changed it to mind bolt. Mind bolt, because mind flayers have like the mind like swarm kind of attack thing that they can do, and it like hits a bunch of people in a radius. I didn't want to give it the full mind flayer like range of that. So what I did was instead of making it a radius attack, I made it a ranged like targeted attack with a little bit of a twist. So it has a very similar method of attack to the actual lightning bolt attack from the storm giant. The Etten hurls a psychic bolt at a point it can see within 100 feet of it. So I nerfed the range because the lightning bolt originally had a 500-foot range.
Okay.
Which is horrifying. But then each creature within 10 feet of the point of contact must make a DC 15 intelligence saving throw, taking 18 psychic damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one. And then I have that on a recharge of 4 to 6 on a D6.
Okay.
So I made it a little bit more consistent lightning bolt with slightly less damage and slightly less range. But then it still has its greatsword attack. And it also has tentacle attack, because you got the little face tentacles, because all mind flayer thralls have to have face tentacles.
Nice.
And I made them really grossly long and disgusting, so they have a range of 20 feet to hit.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
All right.
So if it hits, you're taking 35 bludgeoning damage, 4d12 plus 9. If the target is large or smaller, it must make a DC 17 strength saving throw or be grappled. They may make a save at the beginning of each of their turns to attempt to escape. The Etten may only grapple 1 creature at a time. Because it has multi-attack, so it can make 2 attacks with either the greatsword or a tentacle. But they can only have 1 person grappled in the tentacle at a time. Retained most of the spell casting that a storm giant gets. At will, it can cast Detect Magic and Levitate. Once per day, it can cast Control Weather and Water Breathing. I did remove it being able to cast Light at will, because I thought that flavor-wise, I thought it made sense for a Mind Flayer to probably not cast Light anymore.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically it for what I changed and how I made this creature. It's like I said, it's not a very complicated one. It's not like some big insane, it's got nuts abilities, whatever. But it's a storm giant that got taken over by Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking about like how badass that would be, especially if you're doing some kind of like an Underdark campaign where Mind Flayers are far more prevalent. I think it would be awesome to just have giants down there, like being the bodyguards of like a colony or something like that.
Yeah. No, I think that makes complete sense. I am all over the concept of variation in monster themes. I think it makes complete sense that a Mind Flayer would have made something like that out of, more than just your typical humanoid.
Yeah, exactly. Like the fact that they can infect basically anything. It's like, why are they only going for humans?
Yeah. Why are we limited? There's no reason. I like that concept a lot. I have followed a very similar ethos.
Really?
For what I've created.
Okay, hit me.
This is a giant that has been lured into a life of indentured servitude by the Church of Shar and made to interact with shadow stuff.
Shar being
basically a cult that resides in the Shadowfell.
Oh, okay.
This is the Shade Giant.
Oh, fuck, that's so cool. Oh, I am so jealous. Okay, all right.
So similar concept for sure, but the scaled down quite a bit from a Mind Flayer. For the most part, the stats you would expect from a Hill Giant. The main difference being a dex of 12. 11 rather, sorry. Just to match that of a Shade, because it, shares some of the same properties of shadow movement with the Shade. I have, however, removed the shadow stealth trait from this because it's rather large.
I was gonna say, it makes sense that a giant is not that good at stealth.
Right. And I think more than anything, I think, let me read it out. While in dim light or darkness, the Shade can take the hide action as a bonus action. Its stealth bonus is also improved to +6. I think it would take significantly longer to do that.
Yeah.
For any type of giant. Now, what I could do probably is just make that an action.
Yeah.
Maybe even a legendary action.
Oh, that would be cool.
I think
you had like a legendary version of the Shade
Yeah,
Giant,
I only just thought of that now, so I might change that when I go to edit this later. But yeah, it retains the +2 to perception and the resistances to, of course, acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire. I didn't need to add a second bludgeoning there. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, thunder, and then bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks.
Yeah. That's kind of insane, bro.
It's a little insane, yeah. I bumped up the challenge rating from Hill Giant by 2 to make it 6. I think it was 4 to begin with. Because I think it's definitely harder to fight than a Hill Giant.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure it's that much more difficult. In place of its typical Great Club attack, it takes a modified strength drain from the Shade. With the original Great Club stats. Melee weapon attack +8 to hit, reach 10 feet, hits one creature, 3d8 +5 necrotic damage. The target's strength score is reduced by 1d4. The target dies if this reduces its strength to 0.
Yikes.
This is this text here is mostly just the original strength drain from Shade.
Yeah.
But with the damage and range.
Arguably more terrifying somehow.
Probably more terrifying, yeah.
Well, I would even say arguably more terrifying than a Mind Flayer giant in some ways.
Oh, do you think?
Well, because if the Mind Flayer Giant had a way to like also infect people, then I would say, okay, yeah, no, that's way more terrifying.
That's true.
But like, it just has a little psychic ball that it throws at people. I am always far more terrified of something that's going to lower my stats.
Oh yeah.
Than I am of anything that can do me thousands of damage.
Yeah. This attack alone makes me wonder if I should up the challenge rating because, like, maybe, maybe
a little bit.
You are still dealing with the 105 hit points though, so it's like, at the levels that would probably be appropriate to fight this, it's a little glassy, which I think is fun.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. Like, you hit hard, you go down hard.
And of course, it can still hurl a rock at you.
Perfect.
Yeah. That strength reduction lasts until the target finishes a short or long rest. I have stricken from this the clause, if a non-evil humanoid dies from this attack, a new shade rises from the corpse 1d4 hours later. That seems like an intelligence-based ability to me.
It's not necessary for a giant to have
just
that.
The idea of proliferating like that. That's my giant.
We love.
Pray to any god you choose that I don't throw it at you.
I will pray to all of them. Speaking of throwing things at you, we've been working on a lot of homebrew stuff actually in the last couple of weeks. You came up with something else, not a monster.
So I did not come up with this. I did find this.
Okay.
I saw this on TikTok the other day, and I was prompted to go find the original post on Reddit about this.
Okay.
We're going to play a little game here.
All
right.
No.
This Barbarian subclass is based on a character in pop culture that you are familiar with.
Oh.
But not one whose source material you yourself have consumed.
Okay.
That's the hint I'm going to give you.
One I'm familiar with, but I haven't personally interacted with it.
So this subclass is called the path of definitely not this character. I'm going to call it the path of the void.
Path of the void. I am intrigued. You said this is Barbarian?
Yes, sir.
Path of the void for Barbarian. That's very intriguing.
A single star bleeding through the horrible emptiness of space shines upon you. It fills you with visions of dreamlands and cosmic hunger. You've never felt so hungry. Within your bowels, a chasm grows that is beyond the flesh. This new yearning dwarves divinity. Some might fear it, but you know that this feeling is older than fear. It's older than everything, and it has blessed you with the seed of the infinite.
Oh my god. If this is not who I think it is, I'm going to be real upset.
So I'm gonna start reading features of this class. Do you have a guess already before I do?
I do, but I don't want to say it yet because I want to give the people some time to make their own guesses here. Okay. I'll give them a couple more abilities before I blurt it out.
Okay. So I'm going to start with the second feature it gets at 6th level and skip the one it gets at 3rd because the 3rd one definitely gives this away. If one of the words I said earlier hasn't already.
Mm-hmm.
At 6th level, you can expand the space within you. Your jump distance is doubled and you no longer need a running start for long jumps or high jumps. In addition, you can change your direction mid-jump.
That is really fun. That's really fun as an ability, and I feel as though my guess is confirmed.
Also at 6th level, your body opens itself to the void. You can eat indefinitely with no ill effects. However, you gain no special abilities to bite, swallow, or digest inanimate objects or things you wouldn't normally be able to.
Okay. You guys got it yet? You guys got it yet?
Go ahead and say.
Wow!
Yeah, dude.
It's Kirby!
So that was puffy jump mode that it gets at 6th level and also void gut.
Amazing.
This is the path of definitely not Kirby. I'm gonna send you a screenshot of the horrifying image that's used in this stat block.
Oh,
Not stat block, in this subclass image.
Holy shit! I don't think I can ever play a Kirby game now. Jesus Christ!
The thing is, like, some of the enemies in Kirby games actually kind of look like that. Inhale. Beginning at 3rd level, you can consume the essence of creatures around you. This is the most complicated ability it gets, so bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
When you enter your rage, I love that, first of all. Choose a creature you can see within 15 feet of you. You inhale a fragment of that creature's essence, gaining an otherworldly hat based on the creature's type. This hat grants you special features as seen in the table below. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different hats possible. From Beasts and Monstrosities, you obtain the Fur Hat, which grants you a special bonus action natural melee attack. This attack deals slashing damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength modifier. Constructs and Undead give you a Rusty Helmet, which grant you immunity to the poison, charmed, and frightened condition, and you do not need to breathe.
Damn.
just cause. Dragons, Elementals, and Giants give you the Homed Hat. Once per turn, when you hit with a melee weapon attack, you deal extra damage equal to 1d4 plus half of your Barbarian level rounded down. The damage is acid, cold, fire, lightning, thunder, or poison, your choice.
Damn.
That one's kind of fun. Fae and plants give you Wreath. As a bonus action, you can teleport up to 20 feet to a space you can see.
That is crazy.
That's stupid.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
On top of the jump distance being like doubled and all that. Oh, man.
I need to look up how to pronounce this word.
That'll make you an absolute menace on the battlefield.
Yeah, it really would. Fiends and Celestials grant you the Miter Hat. When a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to deal radiant or necrotic damage, your choice, to them, equal to 1d4 plus half your Barbarian level rounded down. Oozes and Aberrations give you Goo Goggles.
Goo Goggles!
When you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can choose to automatically grapple them. No free hands required, of course. You can only have... it doesn't say an amount. I'm assuming one. You can only have one creature grappled this way at a time.
Okay.
Humanoids give you a Top Hat.
Top Hat.
When you are targeted with a weapon attack, you can use your reaction to add a bonus to your AC equal to your rage damage modifier against the triggering attack.
Oh, damn.
Pretty all right.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the Fae and Plants one is just the most insane thing.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, that and the Top Hat are the two most
I think
useful.
so, yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh, God. I just... Before I continue, I'm trying to imagine, like, who gets to use this subclass?
Plasmoid.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea, yeah.
Plasmoid Path of the Kirby Barbarian.
Hell yeah, I like that a lot.
That is so fun.
Rockfall mode.
Yeah!
Beginning at 10th level, when you are midair, you can use your reaction to increase your density to inhuman levels. You become petrified and plummet 600 feet per round. If you fall 60 or less before landing, you take no fall damage. If a creature is under you when you fall and you would land on them, they must make a dex saving throw with a DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier. On a failure, they take damage equal to the fall damage you would normally take and are pushed to an empty square within 5 feet of you, landing prone.
That's so cool.
It's yeah.
You gotta have a very detailed, vertical, accessible battle map to do that.
You might, yeah.
But
I would say so.
Or a DM who's just really good at theater of the mind.
Yeah, for sure. You also gain a +2 to your AC and remain petrified until the start of your next turn, rather.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Swallow.
Oh.
At 14th level, you can consume more than a creature's essence.
Consume the creature?
As an action, you can choose a creature within 10 feet of you and attempt to consume it. The creature must make a dex saving throw, DC equal to A plus your proficiency plus your strength modifier. On a failure, you swallow them. A swallowed creature is blinded and restrained. It has total cover against attacks and other effects outside of you, and it takes 46 acid damage at the start of each of your turns. Swallowed creatures can use their action to make a contested strength. Swallowed creatures can use their action to make a contested athletics check against you to attempt to break free. If they succeed, you spit them out into an empty space within 5 feet of you. If the creature you swallow is one size larger than you, your movement is halved. If you swallow a creature 2 sizes larger, it drops to 0. Creatures 3 sizes larger than you or greater automatically succeed on their saving throw.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. As a bonus action, you could spit out a swallowed creature.
It's Kirby.
This was created by Cinderblock Sally on Reddit. Yeah, disturbing stuff.
Especially with that freaking screenshot, bro. Oh my gosh.
It's a little haunting, yeah. Yeah. I love the plasmoid idea. I feel like that's all you could justifiably play this with.
So funny. Or like a lizard folk.
Oh, maybe.
Just like unhinge the jaw.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, or just like you would have to have a hell of a lore reason for this.
Yeah.
You know, because like no one is picking this up naturally.
I'm imagining like the fucking like gum fruit from like One Piece or some shit.
Sure. Yeah. Like something like that.
I don't know. Yeah. Something that makes you literally like rubber.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, the acquisition of this class has to be some insane part of your backstory for sure.
It could be a curse.
It could be a curse. It could be a curse. Could be a curse. What's the downside?
What's the downside?
The downside is you look like Kirby.
I would say, honestly, I'm going to pull straight from One Piece here. I would say the downside would be like you fucking cannot swim. Like you sink.
You sink.
Honestly,
so light.
Maybe.
Or maybe you're dense.
You're dense.
Because you've got the void inside.
Yeah. Also, you could almost take, if you really, really want to find a downside for it,
yeah,
you could take the vampires running water thing, where you take like acid damage from running water. Because if your body is like that elastic.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That would be cool. It's like a super niche, like it wouldn't come up all the time, but like in the one time where you're like, oh shit.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, this is actually really dangerous for me. Like,
yeah. Oh man, I thought just now of a character that we have played with in one of our campaigns who this would have worked with. Do you have any guesses?
How recent is the campaign?
Not recent.
Not recent.
You know.
I know. This was Josh's character.
Yeah, this is Barf.
Barf. Oh my gosh. Our buddy Josh had this fucking stunted ass weird little dwarf that was like built like a mini fridge. Like he was just like this big. But his entire thing was he had a bag of holding for some reason like grafted inside of him instead of internal organs. So he would just like steal things and be like, this is mine now, thanks, bye.
That's the one, man.
That is the one. Oh, that took me a minute, but I'm so glad I got it.
I'm so glad you remembered. Oh my god.
Josh, whenever you listen to this, you are gone but never forgotten. Rest in peace, Barf.
Oh my god. Such a funny character, dude.
He really was. My favorite part of that entire bit was that he legitimately did. He talked like his character voice was like down here. And then we went through like one thing. There was like this crazy, like we met like a celestial or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they like found a way to remove the bag of holding and like fix him. And he grew like 6 inches and he came out and we were like, oh my God, Barf, like, are you okay? And he goes, actually, my name's Bartholomew. It was like something like that. And like his voice was better. And we were all like, ah! Ah!
It's so funny that he held on to that for so long.
I know, because that was the end of the campaign.
It was the very end.
It was like 3 sessions before we were like, and we're done. Good job, guys.
Oh, geez. This subclass originally caught my eye because it speaks a little bit to a topic that we've covered before, which is temporarily stealing abilities from your enemies.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the way this does it.
I was gonna say, instead of trying to like pull something from the character's stat block or from the monster's stat block, it has a very linear, very easy to navigate. A very easy to navigate way of taking something and using it for yourself. I was really impressed with that.
I think if we were to like, make something believable out of this, and again, you could throw this on like a plasmoid or something and it would be really funny and it could work, right? But I would throw this kind of ability on a bard and call it the School of Improv. And he's just a mirroring little guy.
That would be fun, especially if you played a changeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Changeling improv bard.
There's a lot you could do there.
School of stand-up.
Yeah.
I have another homebrew subclass as well. This is actually one that I made.
Okay.
Didn't find this one anywhere. This is one that I don't know if this will be the final version of it.
Okay.
I've had this idea. It's a monk subclass.
Yeah.
I've had this idea for a while because I love monks. They are one of the coolest classes as far as abilities and things that they get and just versatility in movement and all that stuff. And I've always thought how cool it would be to play like a ninja or something like that as a monk. And I kind of took that inspiration for this one. This subclass is called the Moonlight Ronin. So it is very, very mood shift from Path of Kirby.
Yeah.
But the reason why I've loved this one so much is because it is a monk that has a dedicated weapon.
Okay.
So like you get to use your monk damage dice with a longsword. Because I felt like that was the easiest weapon that you could reskin a katana over the top of.
Okay. Sure. Because
Ronin, samurai, obviously I want them to use a katana.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can use whatever greatsword you want. But the whole thing with this is that obviously they're monks, so they have very, very, like, strong internal, like, values and things. But yeah, starting at 3rd level, when you choose the subclass, your strikes become infused with the silvery essence of the moon. When you make an unarmed strike or a melee attack with your longsword, you can spend a key point to imbue it with moonlight. On a successful hit, the target takes an additional 1d6 radiant damage. So very, like, the moon is reflecting off of your blade, and you get the extra, like, damage from the moonlight being, like, infused into the strike. Super, super thematic. And then as you level up, the damage from the moonlit strikes increases. At 6th level, you get 2d6 radiant. At 11th level, you get 3d6, all the way up to 4d6 at 17th level. You also get lunar resilience. You gain the ability to tap into the moon's calming influence to bolster your resilience. You can spend 2 key points as a bonus action to regain hit points equal to your monk level. Yeah. Additionally, while you are in dim light or darkness, you have resistance to psychic damage. Nothing too crazy, but like just very thematic.
It totally is.
Very thematic. Like I didn't want to create a subclass that was going to be broken, or it was going to be like, oh man, they took the Moonlight Ronin. Great. Now I'm going to have to like ramp up the encounters. Because essentially during the day, if you're not in dim light or darkness, it doesn't do that much more. But when you're in dim light or darkness, it's really cool. But then at 6th level, you get Silvered Blade Techniques.
Okay.
Starting at 6th level, you have honed your blade techniques under the moon's watchful gaze. When you hit a creature with your moonlit strikes, you can expend a key point to attempt one of the following maneuvers. There are only 2 that I've come up with so far. Crescent Slash. The target must make a dex save against a DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency plus your wisdom modifier. On a failed save, the target takes damage as if struck by your moonlit strikes and is pushed 10 feet away from you. So you get to basically just push them away. I worded that one really funny for some reason, but you can maneuver them a little bit there. Lunar Parry is the second one. When a creature makes a melee attack against you, you can use your reaction and expend 1 key point to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. If the attack misses, you can immediately make a counterattack as part of the same reaction using your Moonlit Strike.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
I have had this obsession for a while of figuring out how to make monks a reaction-based class. I think it would make so much more sense.
This fits a larger niche for me too. I just think there needs to be more. I think there needs to be more reactions.
Yeah.
In general.
Yep, I agree.
And that's a great one.
Yeah, super, super fun. Next ability is Moon's Grace. At 11th level, your connection to the moon enhances your senses and reflexes. You gain the following benefits. You have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight when you are in dim light or darkness. When you are hit by an attack while in dim light or darkness, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll, potentially causing it to miss. So, kind of overlaps a little bit with the other one. Like I said, this is just me jotting down kind of what popped into my head. One way that I'm probably going to tweak it is that it gives you dark vision, and maybe instead of at 11th level, instead of imposing disadvantage, maybe you can reduce the attack's damage by a certain number. Maybe a roll of your monk dice or something like that. But then level 17 is the really cool stuff. Eclipsing Strike. You've mastered the ultimate technique of the Moonlight Ronin. When you spend 4 key points, your unarmed strikes and longsword strikes are imbued with the power of a lunar eclipse. For the next minute, your moonlit strikes deal an additional 2d6 force damage, and your movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. Additionally, as an action, you can create a 15-foot radius area of magical darkness centered on yourself that moves with you, heavily obscuring the area. You can see through this darkness and dismiss it as a bonus action. It only lasts for a minute. And once you use Eclipsing Strike, you must finish a long rest before you can use it again.
Jeez, man, you know that would be a long minute.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I have another 17th level thing that I'm toying with called Moonlight Ronin Epiphany. Your mastery of moonlight combat reaches its pinnacle. You gain the ability to cast the Sunburst spell without expending a spell slot or requiring material components. You can cast Sunburst once, and you regain the ability to do so after you finish a long rest. Now, obviously, that would be reskinned to be like Moonlight, flavor-wise.
Yeah.
But the Sunburst spell is really cool. Let me pull it.
I'm looking at it right now, actually.
Yeah, okay. Hit me.
It's an 8th level spell. Good God.
Yeah.
Brilliant sunlight flashes in a 60-foot radius centered on point you choose within range. Each creature in that light must make a con saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 12d6 radiant damage and is blinded for 1 minute. On a successful one, it takes half as much and isn't blinded. Undead and oozes have disadvantage on the saving throw. Awesome.
Yeah.
A creature blinded by the spell makes another con save at the end of each of its turns. On a successful save, it's no longer blinded. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I kind of toyed with that to be like, okay, maybe give the class a tiny bit of magic right at the end, but it's like really cool, big, imposing, impressive magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's very specific to the theme also, and I think that's the best way you could possibly do that.
Yeah, like the entire inspiration for this subclass was very like the Chinese like straw hat kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like posing on a rooftop in the moonlight.
Yeah.
All like the super, super cheesy stuff. But I've always loved it. Like the concept of that. And it's really cool. I know we have a samurai subclass in fighter, but it's hardly ever used.
This is more specific, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the samurai subclass takes fighter in a very different direction and almost makes you spec into different stats. Because it starts to focus on charisma stuff, which is not something you usually do as a fighter.
Also, like, just keeping with the theming, like, it's appropriate that this is a monk subclass.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I'm so down for that. Like, so a lot of my reactions while you were reading were based on the concept of having to fight this in my head, and that's scary.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. Thankfully, most of the like ridiculously bonkers stuff comes at higher levels, but yeah, just imagining like suddenly there's like this fog of darkness that just envelops this one person, and then the fog starts moving towards you, and then you get stabbed.
Sheesh. Yeah. No, that's insane.
But yeah, so obviously lots of tweaking, but
I mean, you've got a great basis for it, you know?
Yeah, I did a decent amount of work putting it together already, but there are a few things that I want to improve and I want to make some different stuff there, but yeah, that was kind of my whole thing.
Wow. Dang, dude. All right, I feel like I gotta bring something for next week. You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Heck yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah. I definitely did draw inspiration from that, or for that one, for my character that I'm playing in Bailey's campaign that I told you about, the monk sorcerer.
Oh, yeah.
Playing a monk that was like diplomatic and also a charisma build was so much fun. And that's why, honestly, I would say if you feel comfortable doing it, challenge yourself, pick a martial class and like a spellcaster class or some way to make yourself play a character that has higher stats into kind of opposing stats and see where that leads you with role playing. Being dexterity and charisma, like you kind of think, okay, you're basically just a glorified bard. I could see it, but what's really fun is playing a bard personality with no bard abilities.
Yeah.
It is so funny. And I kind of took that and went, what else can we do with monk? Because there's only one subclass right now that lets you use weapons as a monk. And I think it makes sense for older versions of D&D. Like when the monk originally came out, it was very, very strictly like Tibetan, like Buddhist monk kind of a thing. And I think it's evolved past that. Even
in the source material, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if Way of the Drunken Master has anything to say about it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, literally.
That's one of the most. I think that's one of the most creative martial subclasses that I know of. I love that one so much.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I took that and I went, why don't we have any more like monk subclasses that utilize weapons? Because in my opinion, I think the monk class makes way more sense for a samurai build.
I was totally gonna say, because like when I think of the samurai archetype, I think of an anime called Samurai Champloo.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Which you would probably love a lot. The way samurai conduct themselves in a lot of pop culture, but especially in that show, is very monastic in nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's less about the battles and more about knowing yourself and being like the philosophy of being a samurai is far more powerful than the combat mastery.
Yeah, and that falls very much in line with D&D's original vision for monk.
It also brings up the idea, this just popped into my head, if you want to play a samurai monk, this might be a subclass that I might try to make too, just like straight up samurai. Samurai use armor. Monks have the whole unarmored defense thing. What alternative could we give them to replace unarmored defense and make it so that they can still use all of their like movement abilities and all that stuff with the samurai armor? Because I think that would almost be necessary. Like a lot of Monk's stuff is like, specifically, you have to not be wearing armor to do this. But I would love to see, like, with the samurai, they have, like, such mastery of themselves with this armor on, and they've done so much work and so much practice with their armor on, that they can still benefit from the movement aspect of things.
Yeah. You would have to find a balance in there, because, like, are you thinking plate armor?
I was gonna say splint armor because I feel like that is.
Oh, dude, yeah,
yeah. I feel like that's the most accurate. But like, if you take out unarmored defense, let them wear the armor, and then modify the unarmored movement so that they can use it with that specific armor. I wonder if almost instead of unarmored defense, you would have a dedicated armor in the same way that some classes have like a dedicated weapon. Like Way of the Kensei monk has, you can choose like 3 different weapons that you can use as monk weapons. If you had like Way of the Samurai do like a dedicated armor in like replacing unarmored defense, you could say like this splint mail, like splint armor, studded leather, and I don't know, let's say half plate will count as monk armor for you. And you can still gain the benefits from your unarmored movement and whatever. I mean, it's a fairly simple 1-to-1 trade.
Yeah, I would run that. I think that's cool. Yeah. I just now, tangentially related, I was looking up Samurott, the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Specifically like looking for the type of samurai it's meant to be a reference to. Because like there was a word I was trying to think of earlier that I couldn't remember that I've seen used with this Pokemon before. All I got from this was literally Ronin, and I'm like, oh, okay. But also, I found something in here that I just need to bring up.
Oh no.
In its biology description, it says the forelimbs bracers, like the forearms literally of this Pokemon contain shell swords called scimitars. That's what it says.
No, like SEA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a bad joke.
So annoying.
That's so bad.
I can't believe that.
How did they get away with that?
How did they? Of course.
Oh
I mean, are you kidding? Every Pokemon is like some sort of pun.
Yeah, it's fair.
To begin with. So that's ridiculous. Okay.
You want to know what's really funny?
What's that?
Josh just texted me.
Did he?
You want to guess what he sent?
What did he send you?
Said, I would like to share something with you and see if you would change anything.
Okay.
Sends me a screenshot.
Oh, this is happening live.
This is happening live.
I'm so excited.
Josh, when you watch this episode, you're going to freak out.
He's got a lot to chew on here.
This one episode, well, these last couple episodes have been great.
This is the Josh episode.
This is the Josh episode. Sends me a screenshot of a D&D Beyond homebrew subclass that he just made.
Okay.
Barbarian subclass.
Uh-huh.
Path of the Seasoned Veteran.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start reading this because it's really cool. I know that he was working on it before. He brought this up to me. Even at an age beyond their years from their prime, few experienced barbarians choose to fight smart in combat instead of using brute force. These seasoned warriors let their opponents do most of the work for them, using their intelligence to strike true when their enemy least expects it. When a barbarian who follows this path rages, they hone in on their many years of war to focus on the weakest and most vulnerable part of their target to severely weaken both body and mind. Barbarians who fight with strategy and accuracy because of their experience can stand their ground alone, but work well in groups that provide tactical advantages without having to move far or quickly. Their older age gives them knowledge they can pass on to younger adventurers, usually giving them the status of a mentor. They commonly have many stories to tell, some from great victories and others from colossal failures that they learned from. So that's just the description of the class, which I'm really excited for already because this is literally doing what I just mentioned not a minute ago.
Yeah.
About
it
opposing stats.
It sounds specifically like a judo subclass from the outset.
Yeah, I could see it.
Like if this is unarmed.
Well, it's not necessarily unarmed.
Okay, I figure.
Yeah. I know the concept he was going for because he talked to me about it before. He wanted to do something with a rage that is not like a blind see red kind of a rage.
Okay.
He wanted to focus on like a tunnel vision, I am intensely focused on you kind of a rage. So it's not like a loss of or like a lapse of reason. It's like the opposite where like everything slows down. It's kind of like that Sherlock moment that we've been talking about before.
Oh, that's a great take on rage. It's a different kind of rage. I'm so down with that. Okay, keep going.
So strong use of the mind. Starting when you choose this path at 3rd level, you use your intelligence for any role in combat that would require your strength. This affects rage at 1st level, reckless attack at 2nd level, indomitable might at 18th level, and primal champion at 20th level. This does not change what modifier enemies use when attacking you. Additionally, your chances of striking critically are heightened because you know where to strike true. Your weapon attacks score a critical hit on a roll of 19 to 20. This range increases to a roll of 18 to 20 at 6th level, 17 to 20 at 14th level, and 16 to 20 at 19th level.
Oh my lord.
That's insane. Stationary strategy. Beginning at 6th level, you have found the benefits of moving quickly on the battlefield just as much as remaining in one place. When you are engaged in combat and do not use movement on your turn, you have advantage on all melee attacks until the beginning of your next turn. So if you do not move at all, you get advantage on attacks, which I think makes sense. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah. Never lay down your guard. At 10th level, you know to never trust the safety of either your enemy nor your surroundings and are always ready to defend yourself. You cannot be surprised, and your initiative is increased by your wisdom modifier. He listened to our podcast first couple episodes. He heard about the initiative.
That's so awesome.
Yep.
Oh man. Shit.
Additionally, for the first round of combat, you automatically take your turn first unless the creature you are fighting is a CR of 20 or higher.
Say that again?
Additionally, for the first round of combat, you automatically take your turn first unless the creature you are fighting is a CR of 20 or higher. This also takes effect during surprise rounds. That, I would say, needs tweaking. I think that would get a little bonkers.
That's wild.
Yeah, just like you automatically get to go first. Tiamat? Okay, Tiamat can go before you. But anything else? No. My turn.
Oh my lord. Yeah.
And then Know Thy Enemy, starting at 14th level, you can share your experienced insight of your opponent with your allies. So you get to grant your battle insight to another character to give them a higher crit range.
That's great.
This is also utilizing what we were talking about, how to like fix the ranger class and make the ranger class a support class.
Yeah.
He's taking a lot of the little things that we've talked about.
That's so cool.
Uh-huh. He didn't send me the rest of the... Oh, here. You can use Know Thy Enemy. You can use this feature a number of times equal to half your proficiency bonus, rounded down. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. He didn't send me the rest of the class for like the 17th, 18th level stuff. But that's really, really cool. Yeah. I love the concept. I think there are some balance changes that need to be made so that it's not broken.
To a couple things, sure, yeah, but oh man, it's a stalwart evasion tank, and that is sick.
Yeah, and
it's
also
giving me Poe from the end of Kung Fu Panda 2.
Yeah, yeah, but also like I would say give it the increased critical range instead of like brutal critical.
Yes.
So the brutal critical ability being that you can add more damage dice to critical hits. If you take that away and say you just have an improved crit range, I think that's even better.
I think that does fit better. Yeah.
I think he definitely would need to clarify a little bit more the first ability, strong use of the mind. What exactly are we substituting intelligence for strength into? Like, is that going to change your melee attacks, or is that just abilities, just like athletics kind of a thing?
Yeah, in my mind, that would be abilities.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's very, very cool, man.
I actually think I might send him a voice memo right now.
Yeah.
And just tell him that like, hey, by the way, you're on air right now, like as ironic as that is and hard for you to believe.
What if you call him?
Oh, I could ask him if he could call. Oh, he's live. He's here. Guys, this could be happening. He's typing. It's happening. He's typing.
What up, brother?
Hi. Josh, I have something really important to say to you.
Okay, one second.
Okay.
For some reason, it's having interesting audio. Okay, try it again.
All right. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Okay. There you are. Go for it.
Okay. Welcome to Summongreaterpod.
Okay. Hi.
We're literally recording right now.
We are recording as we speak.
Okay. Well, greetings. It's good to be heard.
We just pulled up your picture that you sent me, and we actually just did a read through of it on the podcast, and we talked about what we would change and what we would keep about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yup. So you are officially the first guest of the podcast.
Hey, I'll take it.
So, yeah, we looked at the screenshot that you sent. We think that to get the what we would change out of the way first, we think that the first ability, strong use of the mind, where you said substitute intelligence for strength.
Yep.
Definitely want to clarify on that one what specifically you're using intelligence for. Like, does that count for melee attacks, or is it just like abilities or things in combat?
I would do it for just attacks in combat.
Just attacks. Okay. That's cool. Attacks. That's cool. Another thing that we said was the increased critical range is awesome. We think that might need to be in place of the brutal critical ability. Like, do instead of increasing critical damage, increase the chance for a crit?
Yeah, that makes sense. I was trying to figure out how to do a couple of those abilities with how the Barbarian already works. It was a little difficult, but I did put that together as a concept, which is why I actually sent it to you to see how you guys would fix that. What do you think?
Yeah, we read it and we were like, this is awesome, because you implemented on the sheet here several things that we've already talked about on the podcast about how we wanted to find a way to implement these.
Yeah.
So this is really, really cool.
I also really like the flavor of the rage that you've implemented here, because normally, like, across all barbarian subclasses, it's an angry rage, but yours is a focused rage.
Yeah. I wanted to do something that I don't really see a large amount of mentor characters that are implemented in a class outside of something that uses wisdom or something that uses dexterity.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the whole mentor class being a barbarian, just an old grandfather who still has the ability to swing and cause some damage. I just thought it was a great idea.
That is awesome. That is phenomenal. Yeah. The only other thing that we were looking at as far as maybe needing to tweak was at the very end, know thy enemy, where you said that you would like automatically get to go first in combat, or not. Never let down your guard was the one.
Yeah.
You automatically go first unless you're fighting something with a CR of 20 or higher. Might want to bring that down just a little bit. And you may also want to specify, like, on the first turn of combat, you get to go first.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I grabbed a chart of challenge ratings. With my complete ignorance, full admittance, I'm not as knowledgeable in what kind of creatures are within the challenge rating, so 20 felt like a good
number. 20 is a really, really strong number.
Yeah.
Okay, then how about like 15 or 17? What do you think?
I would say 13, because there are a lot of things in the 13 to 15 range that are considered like really smart, really tactical enemies.
Okay, that's a good thought. And I also thought that the fact that its initiative modifier was increased by wisdom, I think that already gave a tactical advantage. So if it had a lower challenge rating that affected its ability to go first in the first round of combat, I don't think that would be too much of an issue with a seasoned veteran barbarian.
Yeah. One thing that just popped into my head, actually, what would you say to switching that initiative modifier from wisdom to intelligence?
That I was considering. I still am trying to figure out how. Let's put it this way: I wouldn't be opposed to it.
The only reason I bring it up, is because it makes it easier to set your stats when making the character.
Yeah. I was afraid that intelligence would become like the primary stat, and then all like strength would become the dump stat. But I wanted to see if there was some variety. But then I totally forgot that you already have Constitution as a variety stat that you want to put in there, as well as Dexterity to keep your AC up.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I also forgot that you're using Intelligence for your attack modifier instead of Strength. So having Strength as a dump stat is really funny for a Barbarian.
I think so too.
But yeah, so on that note, you could switch it to Intelligence or you could keep it as Wisdom. Again, we literally just talked about this for about 5 minutes, and then Sam was like, you could call him.
Okay, what if we made it to where it was a decision on the player's part? You can make it to where your initiative is affected either by intelligence or wisdom.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Then you can also if you do wisdom, you can multi-class with warlock.
With Warlock? Warlock's a
with
charisma
another
caster.
class that, whatever, charisma, what was it? Wizard, that's what it was. It's wizards by...
Oh, if you choose intelligence, you could go with a wizard, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, intelligence or another class that uses wisdom on their attacks.
That would be really cool, like a cleric or something. Or monk, even.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, no.
He's a veteran.
Whew. Whew, that's
Oh my
scary.
God.
That is
Very cool.
awesome. Well,
Cool,
yeah,
well-
thanks for calling and being a part of everything. Sorry to interrupt your drive, but...
No, it's okay. I just got to my destination, so it's perfect timing.
Nice. Well, we will let you go, and we'll continue from here, and we'll probably talk soon more about this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for having me.
See you, Josh.
Thanks for talking, Josh. Love
All
you,
right,
buddy.
bye.
Amazing.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Path of the Seasoned Veteran.
So sick.
I'm super excited
man.
for that. Yeah, best part is it's already in D&D Beyond. So if you get, I think he posted it. Let me see if it's public really quick, because if it's public, you guys should all go try it out and give him feedback on that. Okay, he has not made it public yet.
Okay,
but
yeah, he's probably going to want a chance to edit it before he makes it public.
Once he does, though, give him some feedback.
He'll probably have made it public by the time this episode is up. So.
Yes, that's true. Path of the Seasoned Veteran Barbarian. Yeah, well, I think that covers our time for this episode.
It does, man. Oh wow, what a great episode! Thank you guys so
What a
much
rush.
for watching Summon Greater podcast and sending your homebrew to us, whether directly over the phone or at Summon Greater on Twitter or summongreaterpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That was so hype. We would love to do some more of that. Whether or not we get to speak to you directly, that was a lucky that we were able to do that.
Yeah.
So
Also, just another thing to note, the last homebrew that we brought on from a fan submission was from a comment on one of our TikTok shorts.
Yup.
So comment, interact, please, like and subscribe on all of the social medias and talk to us.
Yep.
We read all the comments. We will most likely respond to them and try to get your ideas on the podcast if we can.
Mm-hmm. And that guy just like we asked him to DM us and he sent us his website. That's what we were looking at a couple of episodes ago.
Yep.
So like we're down to look at your stuff really, really in depth. And I think what we're gonna start doing is reading it beforehand so we have a better idea. I wanted to do that guy more justice, but we'll get to here. We have some stuff planned. So
we'll still do that other video and
yeah,
do
definitely
a more in-depth dive there.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a great week. See you next week.
See you guys.